Hello, friends and listeners, party people. Welcome back to another episode of Party XP. I'm your host, Lakan, and joining me is Jeff. Say hi, Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
How are you doing, my friend?
Tired. Very tired.
You
Well,
sound
what
like you
else
just
is
woke up.
Yeah, no, I've been up for a while, and that's the problem. But otherwise, I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm good. Had an easy day at work last night, so that
Right.
was good, except for the fact that I slept through my alarm and was late by 2 hours.
Oh,
Yeah.
not great, Bob.
No. So, like, my coworker called me, right? He's like my coworker who, is actually, like, one of my friends as well, right? So he calls me, and I answer the phone, and he's like, hey, you coming in today? I'm like, yeah, why, what's up? He's like, it's 10:30. I'm like, shit. You know, just that sinking feeling. You know what I mean?
Yes,
It's like,
I've been
oh
there.
no. Okay, I'm getting up now. I'll see you in a bit. And I was like, I
I
still
have
have to
been there.
still have to do the morning prep. You know what I mean? Like brush my teeth. You know, take a shower.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh, I'm gonna be so late today. Whatever. Like I the worst part of it is I just had my yearly review like last weekend or like
Right.
last week, and I was like, good start to this year basically.
Yeah, no, I've been there. I've been there where I woke up and it was like 2 minutes before my shift was supposed to start. And you, like you said, you just get that sinking feeling and you're just like, oh shit. And you just jump out of bed and grab your stuff and go. Like it was insane.
At that point, do you make the excuse, or do you just like, I'm late, I slept through my alarm, I got nothing? Like,
Yeah,
you know
that's
what I
it.
mean?
That's all you can do. You just fall on it. Hey,
Yeah.
I screwed up. I slept through my alarm, or I turned my alarm off. I don't know, whatever. But
Yeah, I remember that happened one time. This is before smartphones, or like right on the edge of smartphones.
mhm.
I had like an LG, not the Envy, because I remember that phone was actually pretty good. But like, you know, like the slide up had the keyboard and had like a little touch button on the
Mhm.
bottom of the screen, but the touch screen was shitty. So like it would just randomly start just doing shit. So I remember one time it wouldn't turn off like the alarm. So I just threw my phone across the wall. And yeah, I just went back to sleep and I woke up like 3 hours later, and then I realized I was late for class. So I was like, well, so much for that. I'm just gonna go ahead and just say screw it to the day basically, and just try again tomorrow. And then I had to try to dig out an old phone from my you know, the drawer of holding of all my old, you know, phones and tech shit. Again, this is before
Mhm.
smartphones. I was like, whatever, these phones are, you know, built to fucking last forever. So, but yeah, I clearly have a history of this apparently now.
No shit. Yeah.
Good to hear that you're doing good. Okay, so go ahead and get into a couple more games for this year. You know, I'm a big fan of like parkoury, fast-paced games. We played Neon White earlier, in the life of this podcast.
And we played the samurai one. I liked it. I forget the name though.
Katana Zero.
Katana Zero. I like that
Okay,
one.
well, good thing you remembered that. That actually lines up perfectly for me. Have you ever played a game called Ghostrunner?
No, but I've seen it and I want to play it.
Okay, perfect. So Ghostrunner is kind of like it has a lot of that vibe, right? Of a Katana Zero. And we'll get into a bit more obviously when you actually play the game. But Ghostrunner is a 2020 action platformer co-developed by One More Level and Slipgate Ironworks and co-published by 505 Games and All In Games. The game was released initially on PS4, Windows, and Xbox One in October 2020. So yeah, right on the break of the past gen and current gen, right, of consoles, and Switch 1 month later in 2020. The next gen release came for PS5 and Xbox Series consoles in September 2021. And as of 2023, September, the game has sold over 2.5 million copies. You take on the role of Jack the Ghostrunner, where you traverse environments by dashing, jumping, wall running, grappling, and sliding. The game is played in first-person view, and enemies are strewn about multiple areas, which you need to take out carefully as both enemies and Jack are one-hit kills. You have
Oh.
the ability to slow down time, parry bullets, and more as Jack unlocks more abilities and upgrades as the game goes on, which you can apply by utilizing a Tetramino-like grid system, and you know you place in your abilities there to customize your character, basically. The game was announced during Gamescom 2019. Quick turnaround, basically, here, and I don't see an initial development time, but it was developed using Unreal Engine 4. The game has been described as a mix of Titanfall, Dishonored, Superhot, and Mirror's Edge. Honestly, pretty accurate. All games that are fantastic games and were very much so also in my wheelhouse. An expansion, Ghostrunner Project Hell, was released on March 3rd, 2022, and the sequel, Ghostrunner 2, was released on October 26th, 2023. That's all I really want to talk about the game. I don't want to spoil a whole lot here. There's a story in here, which we'll get into more when you actually play the game.
Mm-hmm.
But what have you seen of this game since you've seen a little bit of it?
I've just seen the guy with the sword, and it just looked cool. Just looked up my alley, but I haven't actually seen any gameplay or anything like that.
Okay, cool, perfect. So I found it funny that this game came out in 2020 around, like, within the, like, not super close to it, but like within the vicinity of like Cyberpunk. And like I found it kind of funny that like in that year there was like a lot of like cyberpunky style aesthetic games basically. But yeah, I remember just seeing this as Cyberpunk was kind of trending on Steam, and also like a lot of like YouTubers that I watch got into this game. So I was like, this looks sick. I'm gonna go ahead and hop into it myself. And yeah, fantastic game. I enjoyed the hell out of it. And kind of like I was kind of like spreading the word on it for a little while until obviously the hype died down. That's really all I've got here. We'll hop into it. We'll get a couple weeks in for you because this is a decent length game. I think you have a good time with this one. So listeners, there'll be a short break here. For you guys, it'll be about 5-10 seconds. For us, it'll be about a week or two. And when we come back, we'll see how Jeff feels about Ghostrunner.
See you then.
Okay, listeners, we are back. It has been weeks.
It's been a while.
Jeff's finally got a chance to get on Ghostrunner. And Jeff, what do you think?
I think it's a good game. I think you should play it. Unless you're a father of a 2-year-old who gets 4 hours a week to play video games and had other stuff going on. Right. Okay. So here's what I'll say. Okay. It's really good. It's cool as hell. You should totally play it. Unless you had a podcast where you played 2 other games that are a lot like it and did what this game wants to do better. Right? Okay. So I think if this was the 4th game we played on the podcast, right? Pause for 1 second. I think I locked my doors. I think if this was the 4th game we played on the podcast, right? I think I would have received it a lot better. Number one, because of where I was in my life at that point, right? Just a regular married guy with tons of free time. One of the Steam comments put it best, and I think is one of the things that kind of contributed to me not really getting into this. Ghostrunner has a really high skill ceiling, right? Where when you get really good at this game, and I've seen a lot of the gameplay of people who are very good at this game, it looks sick. Like, it's amazing the stuff you can do in this game, right? It also has a high skill floor, meaning you need to be able to pull off high level moves no matter where you are, even early on in the game, right? Requires you to be, pretty skilled at the game, right? Which, with limited time of, being able to play the game and just kind of wanting to get through it for the show, kind of was a hurdle in getting me to super enjoy the game here. The other thing is that I played this game after, I played this first-person action game after playing Neon White already, and I played this futuristic, dystopian cyber soldier with a samurai sword killing guards after playing Katana Zero. Right? Both of which, those games, I think, does what this game wants to do better. Which makes sense, because I think they both came out after this game came out, right?
Yeah, this came out in 2020. So.
Right. So you're looking at 2 games that came out after this that had already been able to build on the foundation that Ghostrunner put together being played before Ghostrunner, right? So it's kind of like you're taking a step back, and I think also the style that Neon White has, where it's not one-hit KOs, right? You have a health meter in Neon White. I'm not crazy, right?
Yeah, you had like 3 hits you could take, and then enemies had a certain amount of health, so depending on whatever weapon you used.
Right, so it wasn't a one-hit kill in Neon White like it is in Ghostrunner, and while Katana Zero has the one-hit kill, I think the 2D plane lends itself to being able to successfully fight off ranged attackers with a samurai sword better than Ghostrunner does. I think that third dimension adds so much challenge, right? When you pick off 5 soldiers and there's a 6th soldier that shoots one bullet at you that hits you in the back, right? And so basically all the work that you just did is flushed down the toilet. It gets frustrating, especially when it's like, how do I do this again? How do I slide? How do I slow down time? How do I do this again? It's tough. Like it was super tough to get into, and all I could think about was like, these other games did this so much better. But that being said, what they don't do is kind of combine all of them into one package that's super stylish, has really great music, right? It has a cool story, right? Like the whole idea of you as kind of this amnesiac cyber soldier, right? With the voice in your head. Like, it's cool. But
yeah,
I just think from where I was in life and where I am in life and what I've already played on this show before, it kind of fell short.
Okay, I understand that. Yeah, because like, you know, I know in the first half of the episode, I directly related this to Neon White or Katana Zero. I don't think I like hard compare them. I possibly could have. I don't remember this point, but like, this is that first person go fast gameplay. You know, that opened the door for a lot of other games in this kind of genre, like Cyberhook or Get to the Orange Door or Frost Runner, or even Neon White. This came before all of those. You know what I mean? So, it's that tight first person gameplay which really clicked and then made me desire more of this type of gameplay. In gameplay sense, I guess it would be closer to, in my opinion, to a Katana Zero if it wasn't first person than a Neon White. I guess that's where I kind of sit with this one. But then, like, you know, of course, like the way the gameplay varies with, you know, creating your skill grid, you know what I mean, with the little Tetramino setup, right? With the slowing down, making bullet reflex easier, stuff like that. Yeah, like I think just like this game, even though again Neon White does obviously incentivize the speed running type gameplay, I feel like this game feels faster. You know what I mean? It feels I don't know how else to explain it, but other than it feels more intimate. because obviously for the most part you're killing things with your sword. You're incentivized to like dash into things. You know what I mean? Versus Neon White, where it's a balance, right? Depending on the weapon, if it's like the shotgun or like the rocket launchers or whatever, right? Where you can use it to dash directionally into things or like, you know, run up to them and jump off them or slice them or whatever. Versus this one was like, you're kind of again like incentivized to kind of like get up close and personal, slash through things. There's a little bit more direct combat in this game, right? Where there are some enemies that will block you and parry you, and will dodge away from you, and then kind of, you know, jump on you afterwards. But I think in my opinion they just do different things, and I think there's a different feel in this game that I kind of like. I tended to look for more than in my personal opinion than Neon White. Even though both games are also very good.
Right. No, it went there for me because that was the game not only that I played on the podcast, but it was the other first person action platformer that I played. Right. Like I haven't played a ton of these games, but it just so happened that Neon White was the game that I played on here. And it's one of the only action platformers I played. So it was a direct comparison for me just because of the genre that it was. Not because necessarily it feels like that. And I think you're right. It does feel a little more intimate because you're not flying on rooftops. You're running across, right? You're running across walls and things like that. And using a samurai sword to kill enemies versus, like you said, in Neon White where you're shooting ranged weapons, right?
Mostly gunplay, yeah.
Yeah, it's mostly gunplay. So, like, I get it. I definitely do understand that. But that's kind of what it felt like for me. And then, like, trying to just get through this game and just constantly coming up, basically just blowing all my resources to get one guy left that shoots me and kills me. Like, it was frustrating. Like, it was super frustrating. And I didn't kind of feel that with Neon White and with Katana Zero for whatever reason, where it kind of felt like I always had the tools that I needed to to complete kind of the sequence, right? And with this, it always kind of felt like, and I know it was especially early on in the game where you don't have a lot of your resources and a lot of your upgrades. Like, it's meant to feel that way. But I'm just like, damn, bro, like, come on. Like, fucking, you're this cyber soldier. Figure it out. Like, just have one more have one more bar of time stop. Like, parry this fucking bullet. Like, just do it, man. Like, it got to a point where it was just super frustrating, and I'm just like, damn, bro, like, come on. It also doesn't help that a lot of the games that I play in that first person mode are like giant kill quest games, like the Doom games and all of that, and Wolfenstein, where it's just like you are in control, like you are this killing machine, and to just go kind of back to having to be like, oh no, this is what normal games feel like, not these kill quest power fantasy games.
Oh, that's a good point, actually. Yeah, because you just mentioned like you feel like you're the walking death machine in that game, right? Where like you can take a couple hits and like, okay, that's cute, now and then I finish the fight, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like if you feel like you feel like you're more of a threat than the enemies are. More often than not, right?
Exactly.
In a game like this, I think even Neon White, right? I think you only had one hit deaths in Neon White, right? Because the enemies had like 1, 2, or like a decent amount of health, again, depending on what weapon you were using or whatever. But in this game, it's like, I don't know. I think it's what I like about these kinds of games. You know what I mean? It's the same thing for like Katana Zero, where you get hit once and that's it. And then, luckily this game and Katana Zero, Neon White, you kind of just hit R and you just go again. You know what I mean? Right? You hop right back into your into your attempt again. It's about the juggernaut feel versus a glass cannon feel. You know what I mean? Where since I can kill things in one hit and then they can kill me in one hit, I have to play tight. It triggers that like need for high level execution, right? Like it forces you to execute. It forces you to play perfectly, almost, is that kind of feeling. And and then I really get into that flow state, especially when I play a game like this. Like when I remember when I first hopped into this the first time, I played for like 3 hours straight and didn't even realize it.
Right. So Neon White had 3 hits.
Okay, so you did have 3 hits then. Okay, yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, again, it just means to, like, the stakes are higher then. You know what I mean? Like where your running and your execution has to be tighter in Ghostrunner. I think that's kind of like what I liked.
Yep.
Same as Katana Zero.
But the other thing too, Katana Zero, you were that dude. Like, you were that motherfucker. They would you would appear and the guards would be like, oh shit, it's you. In Ghostrunner, I never felt like my guy was just like, oh hey, get him. It wasn't, oh shit, it's him. Kind of like how in Halo, right, where Master Chief shows up, and they're like, "Oh shit, the demon's here," right? Mm-hmm. I don't know. I never felt that in this, and I think that's also kind of something that, again, it was a little different than the games that I usually play. So it was something to get used to, but again, like it required a ton of. It required a ton of skill, and a lot of this is just get good.
High focus, high skill, high execution, even relatively early on, without when you feel like you have basically nothing in your arsenal.
Correct, and it's just like, damn, man, like I could be playing something else, but I'm sitting here dying in Ghostrunner all the time. And like,
do you think it was... Go ahead.
Go ahead. No. Yeah, go ahead.
Do you think like there should be more ramp up to it, because they do have those slightly detuned levels where you don't have any of your abilities, basically, right? The little cyber, like the actual cyber running part,
right?
Like the digital network levels.
Maybe.
You think there should be more of that, like to kind of lead into the game?
Yeah, but I also don't think it can be helped. I think it's just that's what this game is. That's what it is. And not every game is supposed to be. You don't have to make a game that's accessible to everybody. It's the thing we talk about with fighting games all the time, right? There are just certain games that are just not accessible to everybody, and not everybody can play every game. It's just the way it is sometimes. And no matter what you do, like, it's just sometimes it's just not meant to be, right? And that's why there are hundreds of thousands of video games out there because there's something for everybody. And I think it's just something that, like I said earlier on in my life, that I would be able to kind of sink my teeth into and kind of dig into more. And the other thing too is just like play more than once a week, right? If you have one day a week to play Ghostrunner, you're not going to get far, because the first half hour of your game is going to be remembering what all the buttons do. And then it's going to be trial and erroring the sequences that you have to go through, right? With the enemies and whatnot. And then it's going to be, if you can finally break through the sequence, it's going to be, okay, so now you have a platforming puzzle you have to do, right? And then it's another half hour of that. And then, by the end of it, you've made your way through, 2% of the story? And you're done.
Okay. Yeah. I forgot that like it was so rough to pick this up, after a while, right? Because I remember when I played this, and then I remember I went to PAX like 2 years later. They had this demoing on one of the machines, and for me, it was like I died twice in like just kind of messing around with one of testing one of the PCs that was on display there, right? And after like the two times dying, I was able to kind of like, okay, got it, you know what I mean? Then I locked in, and I cleared like one of the levels for like like it was like, oh, beat this level under this section in under like 15 seconds or whatever, make it to the top of this area in 15 or 20 seconds, and get a free like patch or something, you know what I mean? But again, it's been a while since I've done that. And then I remember like kind of coming back to it again like a year or two ago, and I remember slamming through the game within like a day.
Right.
Maybe not even a couple hours, but like maybe that's because again like I've had more chances to just sit down and hunker down on like a day off, you know what I mean? But no, again, it makes sense if it takes you a little bit to kind of get back onto the bike. You know what I mean? This is not exactly as true straightforward, because there are some abilities and some like movement. There's like a lot of movement tech and stuff like that in this game, which does require a little bit of reacclimation too. So again, I can understand that.
Yeah, like it was tough to kind of get, like you said, get my way back onto the bike after being gone for a week. And then it's just like, damn, I'm trying to fucking play this game so we can do it for the show. And it just got like, it was just so frustrating after a while that I'm like, it's just chalk it up to another Jeff Salty L, I guess. I don't know, man. But like,
did you end up finishing this game, or did you like 75% and then tap out once you say I got the point of it kind of thing?
I watched it. I watched the end of it. I did not make it far at all into this game. And like, I ended up watching it because I was like, what am I missing? And then seeing like the high level runners of this game, like the high level players of this game. And I'm like, oh yeah, there's no shot in hell I was getting that good. There's no shot.
Yeah. It's definitely a little bit demoralizing when like, even for me, who I run this game a decent amount, and I was like, I am still very bad at this game. You know when you feel like I got into the flow state, I got like one section really, really good.
Right.
And then you get into the next section, you get slapped immediately. He was like, okay. Let me remember. This is a nice little reminder that I'm not good at this game.
And even like, so like it shows the people that have played this game, like their times for certain sections, right? And like I'd see your times and I'd be like, how the fuck how the fuck did he do this? Like I know know you're good at stuff, but even in Neon White, like I would take you out in certain levels, right?
A couple sections, yeah. We were definitely fighting for the leaderboard in a lot of sections over that game.
Right. And then like in this game I wasn't even close, and I'm like, damn, bro, like what the fuck? Like, am I ass? Yes is the answer, but like it's just like, and then the other thing too that didn't help, and again, not an excuse, I had just gotten to Master in Street Fighter after like toiling in Diamond. I went on like a hot streak and then got to Master. So I've been fighting for my life in Master. So it's like all of my execution has gone to trying to play Street Fighter. Yeah, and then it's like, oh right, I have to not suffer, but I have to go die a bunch of times in this game that isn't the game that I want to play. But I have to do it for the show, and then after a while, it's just like I did like everything started to suffer, and I'm like, I can't do it. I gotta just watch
Mhm.
this and figure out what happens here so I can talk about it. Like, it gets cool. There's a lot of really cool shit, and like I said, like, you should play this game especially if you like the cyberpunk aesthetic, if you like challenging games, if you like first person action platformers. This is everything, and there's a second one too on top of it all.
Yeah, yeah. Ghostrunner 2 came out relatively recently. Within the last 2 years.
Right.
Yeah, and like that one I still haven't sunk my teeth into like fully yet. I tried it out when it came out, and I was like, ooh, cool, and then ooh, grappling hook. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, more shit. Especially with the Titanfall obsessed brain of mine, you know, ooh, neuron activation. There's like a little bit more like stuff that they added on apparently down the line, which I haven't gotten to yet, so I'll get around to it. But yeah, like if you like that, like again, that like gritty cyberpunk aesthetic where you are like an underdog, bottom rung kind of society, right? Fighting against the corpos.
The
like,
story is great,
it, right?
The story is everything, especially these days. The story is everything you want.
And especially for like a cyberpunk story, all I really need is kind of like that. You know what I mean?
Right. Getting revenge on high society, especially today, like, it's such a cool story. And like, killing a rich guy is awesome. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, and so we get a little bit of yeah we'll touch on the story real quick here then I guess. So like again, you're basically global cataclysm happened known as the burst. Mankind is housed in like a tower essentially, you know, with like slum / skyscraper architecture basically everywhere. All you know basically, as you mentioned before, is you're an amnesiac runner. That's kind of like there's people talking to you in the over the earpiece right in your head. There's like a Zoe, and then what's the name of the other guy? The keymaster.
The architect is like the guy that like talks to you,
tells you all the weird shit, and does you on the secondary levels, right?
Right.
The entire game is literally you're just clawing your way up to find out who did this to you. That's basically all it is. You know what I mean? Yeah. Relatively simple story, but again, everyone likes a nice, simple revenge story. I'm down for it. And you just go around just causing full on fucking mayhem, basically all on the way up. You know what I mean? You're fighting against like the architects being dismissive against you. You're fighting all of the, what is it, like essentially like the police, basically, right? They're kind of like the enforcers, essentially.
Right.
And then you eventually you find your way out at the top of the tower where you fight Mara, who's like the penultimate boss essentially, because you do technically fight the architect afterwards.
Yeah. Spoilers. The guy that's in your head the whole time was using you to.
Is the bag? Yeah, honestly, not a crazy twist. I was like, okay, I already kind of. It's pretty. I don't need this to be Shakespeare. Just give me enough. I know where we're going. I'm down for the ride. That's kind of what it is.
Yeah. The man that lives in your head is the villain the whole time, like every other fucking game.
Yeah. We're obviously simplifying it here, but you know, if you're into the genre, a lot of it has these very similar themes. Most of this game, in my opinion, is 90% of this game is like the gameplay. The last 10% is like, you know, aesthetic, storytelling, world building, all this other stuff, right? Like, but for me, raw gameplay, this is very much so like kind of the strong point in this game, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. Go ahead and like watch. So, a few years ago, Bladen did Ghostrunner at SGDQ. I'm just thinking of it because SGDQ is going on as we're recording this. He beats the game in a half hour. So, yeah. So, like, you can kind of see just how kind of crazy this game can get. Yeah, like I said, like I think it's good. I think it's a good game, and everybody you should play it. Don't let my issues impact kind of what this game offers and what it brings. Like, it's good, it's well made, it's made with a lot of love and care. Like, you can tell kind of all the little details, like the flyers on the buildings and things like that. There's a lot of love that goes into this game, and you should definitely give it a shot. It's always on sale, I feel like, right? Like, it's always on sale.
Yeah, relatively often, yeah.
Literally on sale, 75% off right now on Steam Summer Sale.
Yeah.
Ignore that, and my car is gonna turn off.
Okay.
But that's okay. Leave that in, out of context.
But yeah, like I remember I just pulled it up here, Blaine speed run. But yeah, 38:33 in 2021. Hi, editing Lakan here. Unfortunately, a little bit of bad luck struck both Jeff and I. The portable recorder that he was using, battery died on it. I was not recording a backup on OBS like I usually do. So I'm going to give you a short recap on what we did wrap up the rest of the episode with. I threw out a couple other recommendations to Jeff that were possibly more his tempo, because Jeff seems to be more in the world of boomer shooters like Doom, Wolfenstein. Like, that's kind of more his speed, more his tempo. So I threw out Ultra Kill as kind of like a nice middle ground between there, where it's like a retro inspired FPS with high speed, again inspired by like the fast pace shooters of the 90s. Boomerang X is another crazy movement shooter. Jeff did say at some point he would probably go back to this game in the future to try and finish it, just for his own sake. He doesn't want to leave the challenge basically unfinished, even if it's not a perfect fit for him in terms of his preference in video games. He does want to go back to it because he ain't no bitch. That's kind of summarizing what he said. We'll be wrapping it up here. Again, sorry for the unconventional ending to this episode. We'll try our best to get back on track in terms of like making sure we have our backups properly. We appreciate all of the support from you guys. Share us with a friend, leave us a like, leave us a review. We're on all the major audio streaming platforms. We're also on YouTube. Jeff did get our show up on YouTube now. We hope you guys like this episode, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Like, how many times would you guys randomly just show up to my house with like your cards and shit, like, hey, we're hanging out now? I'm like, okay, I guess we're hanging out now.